good morning, when we say Zhao Sheng Hao, but good morning to you, depending on what time you see this. Hello, Nihama, how are you? I want to talk about what I call fixed gate cosmic yin and yang theory, right? And so, you have to understand that everything in creation, for real, has a yin yang expression, right? Um, you can see it within animals and humans and what we call species or something, because usually there's a gender type of thing, right? So it manifests itself as gender, but it's actually deeper than that when you understand elements, when you understand physical actions that people take, when you understand attitudes, verbal expressions. Everything really can be classified into a yin yang category, and also what we would call positive yin and negative yin, and positive yang and negative yang, right? So, a basic example would be, positive masculine energy could be, working out, taking care of business, and just making sure things are getting done, right? Negative yang energy could be highly aggressive, violent, temperamental in a sense, right? Positive yin could be loving, encouraging, supportive, more of a soft, nurturing type of vibe. Whereas negative yin could be something that's highly emotional, highly irrational, and just really a mess, right? And so, I find it funny because in this place, I call it's a base for reality, right? I talk about it all the time. And I was sitting here thinking today, I was like, yo, you remember in math where they gave us the grid, the XY axis, right? And the top right of the axis, if I'm not mistaken, you do the X first. So you always go horizontal. And so the top two are positive and the bottom two are negative, right? So the top right, since you went over and up, that was positive, positive. Where the top left quadrant, since you went to the left, that means it's negative, right? And then when you go up, that's positive. So that's minus positive, right? And so when you go down to the bottom left, right, since you went to the left, that's minus. And then since you went down, that's minus, right? And then when you go to the bottom right quadrant, since you went to the right, that's positive. But since you went down, that's negative. So that's plus minus. And it was like, wow. And to me, that goes back to this divine family of, husband, wife, son, daughter type of vibe, right? Which I always talk about the blood types, four blood types basically, and, four chambers in your heart, four lobes in your brain, right? And so I'm like, wow, man, this thing was actually taught in school. If we really understood what we was looking at, we was looking at a map of energies, the only possibilities there are in creation. So to me, it makes it simple. And so even with these four, you can reduce them down to yin, yang, positive, negative. We ain't talking about good or bad, positive, negative, which that could be classified as that as well. But we're talking about active and passive, outgoing and receiving, okay? So now, there was a study done, shout out to Jew, he sent me this. There was a study done back in August where science had discovered that photons, entangled photons, meaning, well, first of all, photons was considered messenger particles of light. Think about that. They're called messenger particles of light. That's amazing in of itself. So they basically said, hey, if you take a photon and you split it and you separate it, right? Then if you change spin direction of one, the other one's spin orientation will turn. So therefore they are entangled, right? And so they actually observe what an entangled photon looked like, and it is the yin yang symbol that we use over here in China, right? And so I was like, yo, this is crazy. Because at the time, to our knowledge, these Taoists, and see, it's the Taoists who use this, right? These Taoists priests in a sense, spiritualists, like they had to go within through meditation and things to be able to abstract the very essence of the invisible universe that is permeating everything. See, this is why I'm over here, right? Because how is it that now science can finally use technology to observe what entanglement looks like, and it's exactly what we say it is in the Tao, the Yin Yang symbol, right? So even when you're looking at it, like really pay attention to it. When you look at the pink, you see in the eye of the pink is the green. And when you look at the green, in the eye of the green is the pink. And that's exactly what happens in the yin yang symbol, where when you look at the black, you have a little white eye. And when you look at the whole white, you have a little black eye, right? So these two are really inseparable. So when you understand man and woman, I've done this in videos before as well, women, you have a dormant male duck inside of you, which is known as the Skene's gland now, which would have been, testicles had you became a man. And man, you have a dormant duck inside of you that's known as the prosthetic utricle, okay? Old literature, vagina masculina, which is the remnants of your mother. So although I am masculine, there's a small piece of feminine that resides. So the opposite gender from your parent, right, is inside of you dormant, okay? Beautiful thing. So now we know it's within us. Now, let's talk about some things real fast, okay? Let's talk about Yin Yang theory as it relates to making it applicable in understanding something, okay? So we can go outside and we can look at the sun and the moon. These are the more prominent factors that deal with, in our reality, yin yang energies, okay? All right. Now, do you know that when the sun and moon are perfectly aligned, meaning the moon is in front of the sun, this is called a full moon. And when the moon is in straight alignment with the earth and sun, 2 weeks later, this is called the full moon. So just simply imagine that the sun, moon, and earth, new moon, sun, earth, moon, full moon are in a straight perfect line. When this happens, astronomically speaking, these are called the spring tides. The waters on the earth actually become higher during high tides and lower during low tides because everything is in perfect synchronicity with one another. New moon and full moon, okay? Now, there's something called neap tides. When the moon, let's just say, is on top of the earth, right? Or at the bottom of the earth, right? This is forming a 90-degree angle, basically, right? And so now this is known as a neap tide, and the pull of the sun is pulling on, let's just say, the front of the earth, is pulling on front of the earth. And if the moon is at the bottom of the earth in this diagram, then the moon is pulling on the bottom, and these waves are canceling each other out, okay? And these are very weak tide periods, okay? Known as neap tides. Now, this is an astronomical fact that deals with the gravitational pull of the moon and sun on the earth's water, okay? So there's a time when everything is abundant and in alignment, new moon, full moon, and then the halfway points where the moon is halfway between these two phases, it's a cancellation. Now, that's called, in astrology, that's called sun square moon or moon square sun. Now, as that relates to the human being, that means your external father, son, moon, mother, their energies probably weren't at the best time or best alignment with each other at the time of your conception, and now you're carrying that out, okay? And so now when you're born, this celestial misalignment, in a sense, of the yin yang energies are at odds with one another. We know astronomically that's a neap tide, so the tides ain't even strong at this point, right? And so now to a degree, it's like we're coming down here and we're a little bit off balance, okay? Because the heavens were a little bit off balance, okay? And so now you have yin yang deficiencies, okay, inside you. Now watch this. Now, let's go inside the body because I invested in the technology, this aura chakra machine, where if you see this color wheel has two needles on it. The long needle is yang energy, the small needle is yin energy. And both these needles need to be of the same color. So like 12 o'clock, 6:30, 3:15, 9:45, those type of things where both hands, like a wall clock, are together. So if you at 6 o'clock, that's bad. If you at 3 o'clock, that's bad. Because these energies need to be as close as possible. So now there's a way that we can gauge our own internal masculine and feminine energies, right? And so I was having a conversation yesterday and was asking, what's the point of origin within? And the point of origin within is the left side of the body has always been considered, they say, the feminine side. The right side has been considered the masculine side. And so I know dealing with this technology that the left and right side of your body can have different colors on your aura. And so the left side may not be in sync with the right side and vice versa, right? And so what you have to do is learn how to balance the energies and bring them to a center point. And the center point is you within here, known as the central column, also known as the Shishuma. Okay, so it's a central energy. You got a left side energy, all right, and you got a right side energy, okay, and so you got a middle, what's called the middle pillar, which is really where the spine is in a sense, okay, all right. But even within that, there's a left side, right side, okay. So you got to learn where the center point is, and then what techniques to do that will automatically bring your energy in harmony. So hopefully I can show a before and after picture of the Yin Yang needle of me doing this work, which I do fixed gate Qigong, and balancing that energy and bringing it back into a place of homeostasis. Okay, so the external cosmos can show us and give us a glimpse of our own internal self. Now the technology can give us a glimpse of what's going on in real time, okay? And then most importantly, things to do to be able to balance it out, okay? So that's what we offer in the fixed gate, because again, I show you the before and after that. This is just not about theory per se. It's about, hey, practicing and becoming better, okay? So with that, I leave you guys in peace, and I'll say it in Chinese goodbye, which is 再见. All right.